Hello children. Today I'm going to start with lesson 13, insolation. The sun is the primary source of energy for heating the surface of the earth and the atmosphere. The sun continuously radiates heat and light energy in all directions. It is known as solar radiation. Radiation is a process by which a body transmits energy in the form of particles or electromagnetic waves. Solar radiation involves energy transmission, storage, and transport. Energy transmission is in the form of radiation, while energy storage and transport occurs in the form of heat in the atmosphere. The Earth receives only a tiny fraction of the radiated energy of the sun. The sun's radiation is made up of three parts. First we have the white light. This is the light from the sun that we can see. Next is infrared radiation. This radiation is invisible to the human eyes, but we can feel it as heat. Then we have ultraviolet radiation. This is the radiation which is harmful to human health as it can damage the genes and cells and lead to cancer. Solar wind. It is a stream of charged particles released from the upper atmosphere of the sun called the corona. It affects the Earth's magnetic field. Now let us understand what is meant by insolation and terrestrial radiation. Insolation. It is the amount of solar energy received by the Earth. In fact, the word insolation is formed from three words: incoming, solar, radiation. So from incoming, IN has been taken, from solar, SOL has been taken, and from radiation, ATION. So insolation, short for incoming solar radiation. The sun's energy is dissipated and scattered before it reaches the earth in the form of short waves. So the insolation is in the form of short waves. Out of a total of 100% solar energy, only 51% reaches the earth, 35% is reflected back into space, and only 14% is absorbed by the atmosphere. Then we have terrestrial radiation. Insolation strikes the surface of the earth. The surface of the earth radiates this heat back into the atmosphere in the form of long waves. The heat radiated by the earth in the form of long waves is called terrestrial radiation. So insolation is in the form of short wave energy, whereas terrestrial radiation is in the form of long wave energy. There is a state of equilibrium on Earth between incoming insolation from the sun and the outgoing terrestrial radiation from the Earth, known as heat balance. When both incoming radiation and outgoing radiation are balanced, it is called heat budget. Let us understand the heat budget with the help of a diagram. As you can see, this is the diagram of the heat budget of the Earth. If we assume that 100% solar radiation is reaching the atmosphere, out of that 100%, 35% is immediately reflected back into space by clouds, and only 14% is absorbed by the atmosphere. The remaining 51% of the solar radiation reaches the Earth's surface. When terrestrial radiation takes place, that means when the Earth radiates back the heat, 34% of that heat is absorbed by the atmosphere. As you can see, it's written in the diagram, 34% absorbed in the atmosphere from the Earth's surface, and 17% is reflected back into space. So if we add 34% and 17%, it becomes a total of 51% released by the Earth. So there is a balance between insolation and terrestrial radiation. Since the Earth rotates on its axis, the sun's rays do not warm all parts of the Earth equally. This sets off several processes into motion and has an impact on the Earth's heat distribution. Now let's see how the heat gets transferred in the atmosphere. First we have conduction. It is the transfer of heat energy by direct contact. The heat flows from the objects with higher temperature to objects with lower temperature. In this way, the heat radiated by the Earth's surface warms the layers of air above it by direct contact. As you can see in this diagram, here they have shown conduction. The ground absorbs most of the heat. The air that is directly touching the ground is warmed. So the heat is being transferred by contact. This is called conduction. Now we have convection. It is the process of heat transfer from place to place within a fluid or gas caused by circulatory movement of particles themselves. The air of the lower layers of the atmosphere gets heated by conduction. The heating of the air leads to its expansion. Its density decreases and it moves upwards. The continuous ascent of heated air creates a vacuum in the lower layers of the atmosphere. So, cooler air comes down to fill the vacuum, leading to convection. This cyclic movement associated with the convectional process in the atmosphere transfers heat from the lower layers to the upper layers and heats up the atmosphere. So as you can see in this diagram, the warm air is becoming lighter and rising up, and a vacuum is created over here, which is then filled by cool air coming down. So as a result, a convection current is started. Convection currents in the atmosphere cause sea breeze. During the day, the air over the land becomes warmer and rises up. Cool air from the sea moves in to take its place. This is called the sea breeze. At night, the opposite happens. The land cools down very quickly, whereas the sea is still warm. So the air over the sea, being warmer, rises up, and cool land breeze blows in to take its place. If you look at the diagram of the heat budget again, you will notice that the atmosphere is heated more by terrestrial radiation than by the sun's incoming radiation. As you can see clearly, the atmosphere absorbs only 14% of the sun's incoming radiation, whereas it absorbs 34% of terrestrial radiation. The atmosphere is very important for life on Earth because at night the atmosphere acts like a greenhouse and keeps the Earth's surface warm by preventing the terrestrial radiation from escaping into space. During the day, the atmosphere absorbs 14% of insolation and thus regulates temperature on Earth. So, the atmosphere prevents extremes of temperature. The Earth would have become very hot during the day and very cold at night if there were no atmosphere. I end my video here. Thank you and have a nice day.